Paul, let's start with an injury update, unfortunately. Jake Rooney, you lost it at Bolton. Liam Thompson has had an issue as well. Can you just bring us up to speed with the state of things?
Yeah, well, I'll do Tomo first because his happened first. Unfortunately for Tomo, he'd worked really well off pre-season, close season, got himself in really good shape, played a lot of games pre-season, played out of position, but was excellent, forced his way in through his performances in training into the team, done really well, and in fairness was probably our standout performer. So to lose him was a massive blow, and if you said to me about a player who's to get a muscle injury, he would have been my lowest, I think, because he's very fit and resilient and has been. So it was disappointing. It was only about 10-15 minutes into the main part of the session, and it was a bit of shape, and he got the ball under his feet in on goal, got the ball under his feet, but shot with his left foot, but it was sort of caught and pulled the top of his quad. So, straight away as a manager, coach, a fan, as soon as someone, like the same with Jake, and I'll speak about in a minute, as soon as they put their hand up, you think there's trouble. This isn't, one of them 16 rolls one way, 3 the other, and there's nothing wrong with you. It was a proper... So as soon as he went like that and went straight off the pitch, I knew there was problems, and then the physios told me, look, it looks pretty serious. And then with the scan, and then it came back with a pretty severe tear at the top of his, it's my Norfolk accent, sorry, at the top of his thigh. And he's out from when he done it, maybe 8 to 10 weeks. So it's a massive blow. And when you say 8 to 10 weeks, you then got to get match fit and everything else. So, so I don't think we'll possibly see him on the pitch till, I don't know, end of November time.
And what about Jake Rooney? What's the latest on him?
Well, Jake's, the worst case scenario, really done his cruciate. So again, it was innocuous. I don't know if anyone was behind it. I mean, I spoke to his dad at the training ground the other day, and he said as soon as his son did it, it's like initially, I don't know how you feel as a parent watching his son get injured, but straight away you have that awful feeling. As soon as he went down, I thought, oh my God, I thought he's either broke his leg or he'd done his knee, because of the way he went down, I could see from the distance, again, it's really innocuous. He was trying to drag the ball back, sort of thing. But I had to let the swelling come down. He went to see a surgeon yesterday because they have to give it a bit of time for the swelling, and he'll have an operation next week. And whether he'll get back at all this season, hopefully he will. And I'm not trying to put it out there in case he watches this and thinks, "Oh, cheers, Gaffer," but it is a long-term injury, and it will be a long road for him, and he'll have some dark moments, bless him, but he's got a really supportive team and good friends in the dressing room will help him through it. But it's a massive blow. I think Jake's been brilliant again, and it's hard for young lads to find their way in the game. It isn't easy. It's just not, even though you could give him a pro contract, you've got to get through some really senior pros to get in. Then when you get in, you have to perform to stay in, and then when you stay in, you get 8, 9, 10 games in, it's yours really. And it's really hard for Jake, and it's really sad, but he'll come back stronger and better, and there's no excuse that he doesn't come back. I'm not saying he's going to come back like He-Man, but he can work on his upper body and core and get himself in a really good shape for hopefully a really good career after it. But I'm really disappointed for him. He's a great kid, as is Tomo, and it's heartbreaking when you see him get injured.
You touched on it a little bit there, but when you have players have these longer term injuries especially, what do you do to make sure that they're okay and that they're all right?
Yeah, good question. I spoke to him and his dad in the foyer for about 20 minutes the other day, but I was saying to him, it's not coming into work, it's strange, you don't see the lads, you're not in the camaraderie as much. I was saying to him that he can come into my office and watch us pick the team for like it. I trust both of them, but they can come in, they can watch analysis, they can be in all the team meetings if they want, but what ends up happening is when the lads leave the physio rooms, come into the team meetings, the injured lads then get the full attention of the physio team, so it isn't as easy as that. I told him he needs to learn a musical instrument or learn a language or start reading something he's always wanted to read. So I'm not saying this is a good topic, but I said to him if he read about Russian politics or something, I'm just saying, I know it's a bit deep, but you don't very often get a chance in life where you think, right, for the next 7 months, I can learn a language, or he can take a course on being a physio on Open University. He can do loads of different things that I want him to use his time, because if all he thinks about, and this is kids generally when they get injured, if all they think about the moment they get up to the moment they go to bed is their injury and how, their mental health, I just don't think the body repairs as quickly. You have to be happy in life for your body to repair. I told, Birdie's learning to play the guitar. He reckons by the time he's back, he's going to be able to play Wonderwall. He didn't say that. I've just made that bit up. But I keep asking him every time I see him. I think he's on the grass today, Birdie, actually, which is a positive sign. So that, and obviously when you see him, you make an effort. So I always consciously make an effort when I go onto the training pitch, wherever the injured lads are, training away with the physios. I always go over and speak to them every day. I always want them to know, they're part of us. And obviously we get on a daily 9 o'clock meeting an update on the players themselves. But you keep trying to keep them involved. You keep trying to keep their pecker up, so to speak. But then obviously, all the thoughts and feelings they have are from their own drive, their own brain. So they have to obviously deal with it themselves as well.
A fortnight since your last game, you ended up having an international break. Was it useful?
Oh, it was ace. I love an international break. And it's probably not great for a fan to hear, but from a pressure keg point of view, we had a few injuries. They're sort of coming back. So it's nice just to have a break from it. And even more so because it's sort of like a Saturday, Tuesday and all that. So it is chaotic. So it's good to get a few bodies back. It was nice to have some time on the training pitch without the not so much the pressure of a game, but the physical pressure of the game, as in, if you know you're playing in 3 days' time, you can train the lads so much, but you don't want to fatigue them. You want them to be football fresh. But when you know there isn't a game, you can train them a little bit harder and do a little bit more, because if they go home tired, like boo-hoo, it's the way it is, isn't it? So that's what I like. You get a good couple of weeks training. We had a game amongst ourselves. We've been able to put some work into Kane, into Tom, into Sibbs, although they're still a little bit off. Obviously, Elliot's now in the building, so he's played 45 minutes, so he's getting closer. Trying to think who else benefited. Obviously, Tyrese Warne has spent more time with the lads on the training pitch, as has JJ. So in that respect, it's been really useful that they can train in not a relaxed environment, but without the gaffer's naming the team tomorrow or this or this. It's just a good way to train for a couple of weeks and prepare us for a good section of games that we need to get some wins in.
Yeah, and it starts with a tough one against Portsmouth, who've had a very good start to the season, unbeaten. I think maybe best defensive record in the division. What do you make of them?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for the intro. Yeah, really good. In fairness, like the lads get about 15 different stats of the opposition and us, like ball in plays, how good they are on set pieces, how good they're GA against, all these sort of things. And generally speaking, we're a lot stronger than the opposition. Predominantly last season, I know it levels out a bit. The first part of the season's a bit, not true really, but they have started really well. Their new players have integrated really well, and they'll be pleased with their start. So we have to be, as we always have to be, at our very best to win a game. But they'll come full of confidence, as they should, with a good following, and it should be. I remember the game at the end of last season, a great atmosphere and a great game. So. You don't hear me say this often, but I'm looking forward to the game.